Good evening, I'm John Carter and welcome to Poland Daily. Just before midnight on Tuesday, KAREL GOTT, the legendary Czech singer, passed away. The artist had been suffering from acute leukemia for years. He was 80 years old at the time of his passing, and KAREL GOTT found popularity and has many loyal fans in Poland.
Někdy se ví, co Bůh chystá, a že se nedají stihnout všechna místa.
The golden voice of Prague has been silenced forever. The remarkable Czech singer passed away just before midnight on October 1st, surrounded by family at home. In September, he announced that he has been suffering from acute leukemia. Just a few years ago, he was battling lymph node cancer, but has since relapsed. KAREL GOTT was born in 1939 in Pilsen, in the Czech Republic. He was working as an electrician, but at 19 won a competition for vocalists and became a star on the rise thanks to his skills and unforgettable performances. His most recognizable songs, such as Lady Carnival or the Czech version of the Maya the Honeybee song, were sung by millions.
A condolence book has been laid out yesterday in the Sejm after the death of the late Kornel Morawiecki. The book will be there until 7 p.m. tomorrow. On Friday, the casket will be displayed at the main entrance to the Sejm, and Kornel Morawiecki's state funeral will take place on Friday.
At the request of the Fighting Solidarity organization to the Chancellery of the Sejm, a casket with the body of the late senior marshal will be displayed on Friday in the Column Hall. First, a farewell for the family and closest associates will take place. Next, from 1 p.m, the hall will be open to Warsaw residents and friends, including members of parliament. Then, at 7 p.m, we, colleagues, friends, members of our club will escort Senior Marshal to the Field Cathedral of the Polish Army. These are the celebrations related to our club and Parliament, while the next day we will take part in the funeral mass at 12 o'clock and immediately after the mass, the funeral at Powązki Military Cemetery.
Katedry Polowej Wojska Polskiego.
Exactly 75 years ago, the Warsaw Uprising collapsed after 63 days of heroic struggle in the capital. In view of the hopelessness of the situation, the Home Army Commander-in-Chief, General Tadeusz Komorowski, or BOR, decided to sign the Act of Surrender.
After 63 days of fighting, the Warsaw Uprising ended on October 2nd, 1944. This was the conclusion of a ceasefire agreement in Ożarów on all activities in Warsaw. In the following days, several thousand soldiers of the Home Army were taken captive, including the Home Army Commander-in-Chief, General Tadeusz Komorowski, and 5 other generals. About 3,500 insurgents escaped captivity by mixing in with civilians in the crowd. Witold Kierzun, a soldier of the Home Army, escaped from German transport after the uprising, carrying insurgent soldiers to prisoner-of-war camps. He got to Krakow and made contact with the Home Army. In March 1945, he was arrested by the Russian NKVD and in May of 1945 was transported through Siberia to the Soviet concentration camp in Krasnovodsk, on the outskirts of the Karakum Desert. Well, it was a hard time for all of us who found ourselves in this camp. Only 13% of us survived, including myself. We had a hard time there, but I came to the hospital in a camp where my father's friend turned out to be a doctor. He healed me. He diagnosed me with having beriberi. I have been struggling with it for tens of years. I am a phenomenon. I am still alive, and in 3 months I will be turning 98 years old. About 16,000 insurgents and 150,000 civilians were killed in the uprising. Thousands of people were injured. It is estimated that 650,000 civilians were banished from Warsaw to the transit camp in Pruszków. From there, 150,000 were sent to forced labor in Germany and 50,000 to concentration camps. October 2nd is also a day of remembrance for the civilian population of the Warsaw Uprising.
After the uprising, it was tragic that all people were banished from Warsaw just as they were standing. The claims of Poles to Germany are justified. The Germans got the Marshall Plan that helped them rebuild the industry, while Poland did not get it because Stalin forbade taking any compensation. Warsaw was completely damaged, the city was empty. The Germans roamed freely and inspected the remains. They robbed all what was left: tableware, rugs, porcelain, furniture, paintings, whatever they deemed valuable.
On October 2nd, on the day of the surrender, only the downtown was in the hands of insurgents. General Kornel Morawiecki said that from a military and political point of view, continuing the fight did not make sense. Despite the opposition from Colonel Montera, commander of the Warsaw district of the Home Army commander decided to start capitulation talks with Germany on September 28, 1944. The Warsaw Uprising was the largest military operation of the underground in German-occupied Europe. Despite the fact that the fighting was planned for several days, it lasted 63 days. After the fighting, the Germans methodically destroyed Warsaw. As a result of this criminal action of destruction, 85% of the left bank buildings of the capital fell into ruins.
The leader of the Polish Teachers' Union, Sławomir Broniarz, has announced another teachers' strike for an indefinite period of time, which is due to begin on October the 15th. The education section of Solidarity will not take part in the action.
The protest organized by the Polish Teachers' Union is going to take place on October 15th, 2 days after the Polish parliamentary elections. The head of the Polish Teachers' Union, Sławomir Broniarz, explained the date of the strike. He said that the strike will take place after the elections in order to avoid suspicion that the strike might have a political motivation. The teachers will only do things that they have to do because of the education law. They won't take part in school trips or organize any extracurriculars.
We want teachers' salaries to be adequate to their hard work. We want the salary to motivate young people to choose this hard profession. We don't want to be ashamed of our salaries, especially when our colleagues from the United States of Europe ask how much we earn, and we earn less than the minimum salary. The government should talk with teachers. The question is, does the Polish Teachers' Union represent all the teachers? The strike that took place in the spring showed that the government wants to talk. The government of the Law and Justice Party has fulfilled their promises regarding higher salaries for the teachers when it comes to this year. The higher salaries were implemented on September 1st. We are going to take other actions in this matter next year. I hope that teachers notice that the promises have been implemented, but of course we are ready for further talks.
Ale oczywiście jesteśmy otwarci na wszelkie rozmowy.
As announced by the leader Ryszard Proksa, the education section of Solidarity will not join the protest because there is no basis for it, and the government is implementing Solidarity's postulates.
Thank you very much for joining me here this evening at Poland Daily. I'm John Carter. Stay tuned after the break for Poland Daily weather. It's followed by the business, then it's the culture, history, and finally the travel.